This is one of my most prized possessions. What is fantastic about this, I got it within only 4 races. Coming from scratch, completely out of shape, 20-ish pounds overweight. There was only 4 things that I did as far as training that allowed me to progress to be in the physical condition to place the podium and get this bad boy. So to backtrack a little bit, when I started training for the Spartan race, I was completely out of shape. I weighed, I think, around 215. And I was out of shape to the point when I ran, my whole lower back locked up within a half mile. I'm so tight, I literally thought I wouldn't be able to run. I just thought running is something that I'm no longer capable of. Even being in that condition, my goal was to be in the top 3 of the first race, and I fell a little bit short of first at 80th in the elite race. Let's jump to it. The 4 training tips that you need to reach your Spartan goals. Number 1, the 400 by 400. Obviously, running is a huge part of the Spartan race. And no doubt you're already doing like the long distance mileage and maybe your conditioning is getting better, but you're probably not seeing like a huge increase in your speed. And that's because the only way to increase your speed, average minute per mile, is to incorporate interval training with your workouts. So with that said, the 4x400, very simple. Go to a track. 1 lap is 400 meters. You sprint 1 lap at your desired mile pace. Let's say you wanted to run a 5-minute mile. Each lap you should be running around 75 seconds. As soon as you finish that lap, you jog another lap, slow. It's a recovery, but it's an active recovery. This is going to help keep up your endurance that you've been building on your longer runs. As soon as you get to the end of that lap that you jog, take off again, 75 seconds. Do that for as many as you can. Maybe it's just a mile total your first time. So the idea is that you're going to take that and build upon it each workout. So each time you hit the track, maybe the first day you did a total of a mile. Then the next time you go to the track, you're going to up it to maybe 2 miles, and you're just going to continue to do that. Number 2, and this is like incredibly straightforward, pull-ups. If you look at the obstacles within the Spartan race, a lot of them have to do with your pull muscles, whether it's the simple ones from like the cargo net where you're climbing up and you're using your upper body pull muscles, to the multi-rig where you're going through rings, ropes, monkey bars, pulling muscles. When you're doing your strength training, incorporate supersets that consist of whatever your strength training is. If you're doing legs, and between your squats, do pull-ups. So start out with just doing 5 and do them in whatever way you need to. If you need help with a resistance band, if you need help with a partner, use it. If you have to jump and use the momentum to pull you up, do that. Ideally, you want to progress to where you're doing strict pull-ups and you're doing 5 strict pull-ups, taking a break, doing your squats or whatever your strength training exercise is for that day, and then doing another 5 pull-ups. But just keep that superset going, and it's going to build, 1, your pull-up strength, but also your endurance, which is really going to help you more. Each time you're at the gym, see if you can just do 1 more pull-up in addition to your set. So let's say you start out with 5. Let's see if the next time you can't do 6, and slowly progress that way. Because I feel like pull-ups are, even for me still, are like it's more mental than it is physical. Because it's not something that we do day to day. It's not natural exercise unless you're living in some kind of Ewok village type situation. 3rd goal, pretty straightforward, burpees. Same thing, when you're doing strength training days, incorporate burpees as part of a superset. So let's say you're doing lat pull downs to build the strength of your back muscles. Do 5 quick burpees in between the sets. Try to increase your progression by 5 burpees each time. So maybe for 2 weeks, you're doing 5 burpees in between the sets. Move that to 10, move that to 15, get up to 20, get up to 30. In the event that you miss an obstacle, the burpees are going to be like one of the more challenging aspects of recovery. And so you want to increase your endurance capability for handling a failed obstacle. I mean, one burpee set you can recover quickly from with minimum training, but you get 2-3 burpees, and if you get them in a close succession, it's going to knock you out of the race. So you really want to be prepared to encounter this kind of like worst case scenario. And the fourth tip is to train on your weaknesses. For me, my first race, I got to the bucket carry, and that shit locked up my back like no other. I mean, I could barely complete that portion of the obstacle, and then running after that was near impossible. So the first thing I did was got home, found a bucket, filled it with rocks, and started carrying that in the 400 by 400, where I would carry the bucket for 400 meters and then sprint for 400 meters. I just identified that as a weakness, and I wanted to completely eradicate it. So you need to find out what your weaknesses are in the race. Bob wire is like surprisingly difficult, so that's one that one should practice on, specifically rolling and being able to recover without getting sick. The spear throw is another one, and that's a simple one where you just build a spear and practice. And as it happens, I have a minute video on my channel that shows you how to build a spear. Super easy, super cheap, and essential for training. Just beware of your hiccups and find ways to train for them. Yeah, man, just get out there and do this. And your goal doesn't have to be to get in the top 3 or 4. Whatever your goal is, this training will help you. If you take any advice, take this advice. If you do no other type of training but this, I guarantee you will succeed. Yeah, and honestly, I have a lot of strategies for these races, and if this is helpful and it's something you're interested, I would be interested in doing more. And just leave a comment, let me know what you think, and we'll go from there.